going to talk about a little bit of the wild card round. And we already talked about the Dallas Cowboys, so we not be talking about them unless Courtney, you had any more smoke to give out. Are you done delivering smoke, or is you're good to go?
I got nothing else to say.
Was this the worst wild card weekend ever? I mean, there was some bad football. Like I only watched one game front to back, and that was the Detroit Rams game. I actually want to go to Mikey first because me and Mikey had like a conversation about. We talked about this all the time, where where something happens in the NBA, where all the blowouts. This past Thursday, I have never seen in my over 25 years of watching NBA on TNT them turn from the game that was on TV into a game that was on NBA TV. They went away from Celtics Bucks, which the Celtics didn't play the starters in the second half. Like they gave up on that. I'm pretty sure that made Adam Silver happy, and they went to Knicks Mavericks. And even see that was a crazy hit on as I'm seeing in this game. But even if you look what the NBA did, the MLK Day, the fucking Hawks like up 35 right now. Like, so Mikey, do you think is it the NFL can get away with bad games and the NBA can't? Like, what do you think about that? And was this wild card weekend as bad as people making out to be?
Well, the difference between the two is you got load management in the NBA, where in NFL, you just got people that are hurt. Like, for example, like the Browns, like Joe Flacco was on the couch watching our pod, you know what I'm saying, a couple months ago. Like, he wasn't even in the league, and now he's brushed into action. So I don't know if it was the worst ever, because we're probably forgetting some games. But I sure as fuck during that Dolphins-Chiefs game, I told my girl, like, all right, if the Dolphins don't score here, it's your night the rest of the night. We could watch a fucking movie. And that's rare because it's the playoffs. I honestly, I think this is the one thing, and I think we probably all can agree on, no matter how much Courtney hates the Cowboys, I was shocked by that game. That's the one game that really shocked me on how out of hand it got. It was 27-0 before the sun went down. And it was a 4:30 kickoff. So I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening? So, the NBA gets away with it because there's 82 of them. The NFL really doesn't, it's going to keep going. What did we say? It was, what you say, $26 million streams
23 million.
For a game that didn't warrant it. If you would have told me the Lions-Rams game was on Peacock and they got 20, I would say, yes, that was a really entertaining game from front to back. That Dolphins-Chiefs game was fucking ass. The best thing out of the Texans-Browns game was just seeing C.J. Stroud do what he did. The Browns were ass. Their defense didn't travel. Joe Flacco reverted back to what he was that got him out of the league, and then the Cowboys game was just a shocker. So this game is already 14-0. I don't know if it's going to get any better. So now we're hoping for a close one on Eagles-Bucks. So I said all that just to say, shit, you might be right. This might be one of the worst.
I think that, to me, like the NFL can get away with this. And I said the NFL can get away with this because of just how, the word I feel like we've been using is addiction. It's an NFL addiction. When we do the old phrase, the Major League Baseball is America's pastime. No, nigga, it's the NFL. Like, and we see that every day. They can get away with shit. They can get away with stinkers like this. If the NBA does a stinker like this in the playoffs, everybody gonna like fuck Adam Silver. David Stern wouldn't allow this. I'm not gonna lie. There is a different side to it with that. I want to get Dante Van Courtney. I'm gonna go to Courtney first. Like, what do you think about this weekend? Was it a bad football weekend to you, or like?
I had a great time. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. I had so much fun. Especially like, first off, I can't say that nobody had CJ Stroud and the Texans winning. But like, it was a whole lot of Joe Flacco meat riding that was happening going into this weekend. So I'm happy for the kid. I'm really happy for the Texans. They're really playing with house money right now because nobody had them going this far. First off, no one had them even making it into the playoffs this season, let alone getting out of the wild card weekend and heading into the next round. So good for them. I do think that run will likely come to an end this weekend, but it was a good run. I like the drama. I like the drama. I don't know what y'all are complaining about. You know what? Actually, I know exactly why y'all are complaining. Y'all are complaining because y'all are like the Squidward meme where he's up in his house and SpongeBob and Patrick are running and having fun outside.
Exactly.
Y'all are impoverished Bears fans.
Exactly.
I mean, all four of your teams are at the house too. Like, let's be real now. I don't see the Saints. I don't see the Saints. I don't see the Jets out there.
Hey, leave me out of this.
Dante, did you even see any football this weekend, or you were too busy golfing with Amar Rashad?
No, I hold on.
This nigga exited himself out.
Exiting that out, fucking with you. But no, I did. I definitely saw some games. I think the wild card weekend usually gives us this. Like, it's not guaranteed that we always gonna get great games. And I think with the NFL, because we love it so much, we shoot them out of bail and we just hype everything like it's the greatest shit ever. And like, don't get me wrong, like prime example, like this first game is probably gonna get out of hand very quickly, but we're gonna sit here and watch it. Like, it, we'll talk about it after the fact. Whereas with the NBA, and Mikey made a great point here, 82 games, bro. That's a lot of fucking games. Just like with baseball, 162 games. That's a third of the year, bro. That's a lot of fucking games. Whereas with football, you got 16 weeks.
Also, just for an update for the folks watching at home, the Bills are up 14-0 on the Steelers with 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
And they're about to get the ball back again as Pittsburgh about to punt. Bane, do you think we shoot the NFL too much, Bill?
Nah, because there's action on every play. That's the difference between the NFL and hockey and basketball. Like, you can go up and down the court and somebody don't score for about 5 minutes. You can watch football and somebody will still get smacked. Somebody will still get punched in the mouth. Somebody will still get hit. There's action on every play. So that's the difference between football compared to any other sport. So could the games have been better? Yeah. But we also know that these games right here tend to be the games where, the 6 seed might have backed into the playoffs. So, or a team is probably not as good as their record suggests. So because of that, we probably going to get one. So we shoot the bail there. Now, next week, if them games huff, then we have a conversation. Especially the way things now, we're adding the extra team. This reminds me of the NBA style that was to win the first 3 out of 5 games. And how sometimes those went quick or they wasn't as good as they used to. But then when you get to the semifinals and the finals, then it's lit. So that's my thought.
I feel like, if we look at, these next couple games, I kind of want to talk about the Miami Dolphins real quick. And Mike, you can tell us more because you live in Miami. Who deserves more to blame this week? Because I feel like anybody who's paid attention to the Dolphins this season, especially these last couple of weeks, we saw this shit coming. There was no part of me, no matter how much the Chiefs were struggling, that I actually think that Tua and them was gonna come into Arrowhead in that crazy weather and win this football game. Who's more to blame here? Is it Tua? Is it a Mike McDaniel? Mikey, what's your opinion? And really, what are they saying in Miami? What is Streets Miami saying right now?
Well, let's go back to what we were saying in October and early November. We were talking about were the Dolphins just bum killers. So are we really shocked, that the Dolphins really showed us who they were the whole time? If they can't run the ball, then all that motion and shit, it does nothing. It does nothing, especially in those elements. Now, I got people hitting my phone talking about, are you guys going to let Justin Fields, go? Like, maybe he can be a Dolphin. And it's just so funny to me how everybody wants to shit on Justin Fields when he's a Bear, but now they want him on their franchise. So, I'll just say this. If Justin Fields was somehow to end up on the Dolphins, there's so that is ridiculous with the amount of speed on that
real
field.
Quick,
but
real quick, yeah, Mikey, because I agree with you, and I know y'all said he was talking out his ass, but Mel Kiper mentioned the Dolphins as one of those teams that would be interested in Justin Fields. But go ahead.
Oh no, that would be that would be something that's fucking lights out, to be honest. Because you got to look at it. I don't think they believe that Tua is the long-term answer at quarterback. Obviously, there's durability concerns. Even if you take Justin Fields into that game at Arrowhead on Saturday night, he at least has a strong enough arm to push it through the elements. Tua has a fucking noodle. Pause. So I don't think you could win with Tua long term. And let's be honest with the Dolphins and let's give them everything. They lost Bradley Chubb. They lost Phillips. They were really banged up on defense.
Yeah.
You know, they were really banged up on defense. So I think it's just gonna have to be an adjustment. You know, Mike McDaniel, I like where he's ascending as a play caller and as an offensive coach, but they need a little bit more out of their quarterback for when it comes down to it. And at the end of the day, this was all self-inflicted because they should have no business losing that game to the Titans. They had no business losing to the Titans on Monday Night Football. And that's basically the difference of hosting a game and playing on the road where it's fucking negative 15 degrees.
Yep.
I think, I'm gonna go to Bang right after this. I just want to say this about Tua, and this is why I'm not gonna put too much blame on Tua. And it's not Tua is who he is, bro. Like I said, when we talk about the quarterback conversation, we gotta know what these guys are. Tua he's good in certain situations. There was no chance this nigga was ever going to win that game. We know he's not that good of a deep passer. We know that, Jalen Waddle was hobbled. We know that defense wasn't what it was because of the injuries. And the Chiefs defense is a really good unit, the best unit I've seen in the Patrick Mahomes era. And I just didn't expect him to do that. I'm blaming more on Mike McDaniel because I don't feel like the plays were there to help Tua enough. And even though we know Tua doesn't have the best arm sometimes you just got to say fuck it when your season's on the line. Like there was a lot of play calls that Mike McDaniel had that he was calling like the season went on the line. And that was something too we're also going to talk about with Detroit in a minute in the LA game. I feel like Sean McVay did a little bit of that too, where it's like you got to be more aggressive when the season is on the line. And he didn't do the best job to me of putting Tua in the best position to win. So I would put more of the blame on McDaniels more than Tua. Bang, what you think about that?
I don't know, but these motherfuckers better not have fumbled again.
Why do you have money on the Steelers?
I ain't got money on the Steelers.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying they might have fumbled again. Like just fall down with the ball. God damn. But nah, man. I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because it's one of those situations, just like with Justin Fields. I think Tua is a capable quarterback. And there's some things that you just need to do in order to make sure that your quarterback is good. But I also believe that they had not one goddamn chance to win in Kansas City with that weather. They are a warm climate team. So I don't want to overthink this game right here because the elements, like if this happened in Miami, or if the weather was nice, I think it's a different conversation. With that being said, Mikey just threw me all the way off. I mean, not Mikey, excuse me. Dante just threw me all the way off with that Justin Fields to, Miami should look at Justin Fields shit. The reason why it throws me all the way off because, they make you believe that anybody in the Miami organization, including Kyle Shanahan, did not want to touch Justin Fields when he was available to get picked instead of Trey Lance. But now more than the Niners. Yeah. But what I'm saying is they make you believe that nobody wanted to be a part of getting him when he was available and they drafted Trey Lance. However, it just feels like to me that everybody in that organization that leaves is almost like, or that type of offense is like, oh, let's see if we could go get Justin Fields. So that's why that threw me off. Was like, wait a minute, I thought people didn't necessarily want to touch him because of the offense, but now you want to bring him in. That just threw me all the way off when you said that. But I don't want to back the Tua. I'm not blaming Tua for a cold ass game in the situation that he's in, especially when some of your wide receivers was dropping passes and shit too. Like, I'm not about to blame you for that.
Courtney, are you shooting Tua any bill, or who's on this side?
Beyond my Bama loyalty, I will have to say that Tua is not in the best situation, right? When you get like 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, you're in a one-read offense because you don't even have time to get a second look. It's not a good situation. It's also not a good situation when you run the ball 18 times and Raheem Mostert is getting you maybe 4 yards per carry. It's not a good situation. As far as what they should do next, I don't think Tua is the long-term solution, but I also know that Mike McDaniel loves Tua. Does he love him enough to put his own neck out there? Hell no. But I do think that that's the pairing we're going to see for at least another season, at least another 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think that I don't think they're moving off of Tua. I feel like they have too much invested in him. I think that this is something where they're gonna have to. I think they're at least gonna ride out for at least another year and see what they got. But it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing in the NFL surprises me when people move on from quarterbacks. But I don't think they're ready to move on just yet. And I even think
going to get rid of another black head coach. That's crazy.
Exactly. And it's like, Mike, it's kind of like what you said too about the defensive injuries they had. That's something also that the front office might be like, okay, well, we didn't have our full complement of guys either. Dante, did you have a take on this, or we can move on to the next?
No, man, it was fucking freezing out there. Like, it was really nothing that Tua was going to be able to do. As much as you hate to say that, because Pat Mahomes also had to play in those conditions. But, at the end of the day, with that offense, a real gimmicky offense, you knew that in that type of weather, they were going to be slowed down. The timing was going to be thrown off. So it was set up for them to fail. So I don't really want to play the blame game here. I just think that as a team, and Mike McDaniel wouldn't want to play the blame game because he's going to take half of the responsibility himself. But we've seen about the way that team does business. They all know they fucked up that game. That's on everybody.
I think this would be a quick question for everybody. Did we learn anything from the Kansas City Chiefs this week? Like, was there anything that I don't think there's anything I learned from the Chiefs. I think the only thing that came out of this was, Pat's still gonna be fighting for his life if it's against a good team. Like, I really want to see, because it looks like Buffalo's gonna hold on to this game.
And listen, this is the interesting one right here for me.
Yeah.
Because I got Josh Allen. I hate to say it, he might be excising his demons. And if you're gonna beat Kansas City, this is the season to do it.
At home.
And I honestly think we're gonna see it with both teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. I think the Eagles find a way to sneak out a win against the Bucs this week, but next week they get sent home. And I think the same with the Chiefs. I just think they're just delaying the inevitable, and they were able to play one more week.
I feel like we've given enough love to the Packers on today. I had that on my
Yeah, fuck them, man. Fuck them. We're done with that. Y'all, hey, man. So everybody knows Courtney over here. Woo, loving the Cowboys. Hey, I had to leave the group chat.
Cowboys. How y'all feel about the Packers is how I feel about the Cowboys.
Mikey legitimately left the group chat.
I had to leave the group chat because I just couldn't take it.
So dramatic. So dramatic.
Let's talk about unfortunately, actually no, before we go, we're gonna close with them. So there's 2 more topics. Let's talk about one, the Texans. Courtney, you said there was a lot of people giving Joe Flacco too much. I was one of those people. I said on the show on Friday that I wanted to pick the Texans, but the reason I didn't is because I should have. The reason I didn't is because that Browns defense put the fear of God in me. But that Browns defense obviously didn't board the plane to Houston, Texas, because they were just non-existent. And on top of that, Joe Flacco also showed you that, Joe Flacco can be elite and can play well. Joe Flacco can also turn the ball over. He did that like a motherfucker. But CJ Stroud, man, and this is the conversation we be having on NFL Twitter about, not just NFL Twitter, but just Twitter in general, revisionist history. What CJ is doing right now, I'm not saying that CJ wasn't good at Ohio State. He was. He was the number 2 pick for a fucking reason. But I've heard many nights where my brother would cuss this motherfucker out. Many nights I was there when he was like CJ ain't shit. Like, he good. He ain't no Justin. He ain't no who's the other guy who was there before him? Was it Haskins?
Yeah.
Ohio State quarterback. RIP. Yeah, RIP. He be like, he ain't them. So like, he was good. He had flashes. I think his best performance was in that game. I think it was against Georgia last year. And I feel like from there he's taken off. But there's too many people out there acting like everybody was just on the CJ Stroud train. No, a year ago, Motherfuckers was on TV. And look at me, I'm gonna go to solo mode here. Look at me when I tell you this. There's people up there calling Bryce Young the football Steph Curry. There's people, if you draft CJ Stroud, you might lose your job. I heard all them conversations last year. So let's not sit up here and act like, certain teams didn't see it. No, he was good, but sometimes you just have a mix of good coaching,
Too
good
much dip on
situation,
your chip.
and also a guy who's just, is taking it to a next level, what you're seeing. And you add to what you're seeing with DeMeco Ryans, their offensive coordinator has been drawing up good plays for them. And the defense has been coming together. Will Anderson has had a very, I feel like, low-key season. I didn't even know he had 7 sacks till 2 weeks ago and already had the Texans record. And that's saying a lot when you have guys like, JJ Watt and guys like Jadeveon Clowney who were in that organization before. That says a lot to them. So I'm gonna go to Dante first, man. What do you think about kind of like the revival that they're having in Houston right now? And it felt like a year ago when Smubby Smith screwed them out of that pick. They came out on top, and they're even further than the team that got the pick.
Muted.
You were on mute, brother.
It feels like they made the right hires. The people that they put in the positions of power to make these important decisions have made the correct decisions. And, I think for everything that they went through with, number 4 up in Cleveland, and this is a franchise that we all looked at like, what's really going to happen now. And they've been able to really build this thing from the ground up. And I think, bringing in someone like DeMeco Ryans, who was familiar with the area, familiar with the franchise, that was key. That was very important. And they've helped to, build this culture around CJ and Will Anderson. And so I love what I'm seeing. It's funny. Since the Texans were created, they had the same amount of, I think they had one more playoff win in the Dallas Cowboys. It's like 5-4, some shit like that. Yeah. So, that's really interesting. But CJ Stroud, man, like you said, we all thought he was going to be good, but nobody felt like that Carolina made the wrong move by not taking Bryce. And so, now they're getting bashed for it, but that's really a testament to CJ and everything he's done and the work he's put in and how he has really shown you, that he, like he said in the combine, just building on everything he did at Ohio State. Like, he's a quarterback. He plays the game the right way. Love everything you see from him. And I think the sky's really the limit with that franchise. And, much like the Bears, they set themselves up for the future with the trades they made and, having 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. And I think they still got some draft capital left over. So it's going to be a good thing as long as they can keep, bringing the right people in there. And you can see people buying into everything that they do.
Courtney, I know you hate the other team in Texas, but what do you feel about this team in Texas?
Oh, no. Listen, I am all aboard the CJ Stroud train. Number 7 has my full unabashed support. I am a little disappointed that I went to that first Browns-Texans matchup and I didn't get to say, listen, it's not like that one was a much better game. Right. I am disappointed I didn't get to see number 7 in the flesh, though. But no, I'm all about it. I love DeMeco Ryans. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Mikey, you were one of the people who said the Bears passed on CJ Stroud. Do you still feel the same? And what do you think about this whole little revolution they got out there in Houston?
I don't know if they didn't pass on him because let's be real, like what you said, everybody was going to take Bryce Young number 1. So CJ Stroud was never on the radar. It's the same as this year. Let's be real. They could say Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams could have a shit year, and Drake May or Jaden Daniels kill it. We're going to say we passed on that. At the end of the day, nobody is talking about them going number 1. They're talking about Caleb Williams going number 1, and everybody was talking about Bryce Young going number 1. It's crazy. Like Dante said, the piggybacker, when you get the right people to run your organization, you get DeMeco Ryans, you give DeMeco Ryans, a first-time head coach, the opportunity to run his own defense, to run his own organization. Obviously, he's somebody with strong principles. His guys rally around him. They believe in him. He's young, so he's not like an older coach where he can't relate to the players. And, last year they went ahead and they got both sides of their team in order. They went and got CJ Stroud, and they went and traded back up to get Will Anderson Jr. on the other side. And then in the same draft, in the same night, they asked CJ Stroud, who do you want as wide receiver? Who do you want to run with you for the next couple of years? And he said, I want Tank Dell. and they took his actual fucking advice. And I just, like, that's what you like to see. I don't know how far this run can go, but CJ Stroud is playing amazing. And it's just one of those things where it happens like that. There's going to be a bigger target on their back next year, for them to go ahead and try to keep it up. Now they'll probably be considered favorites to win that division, but that's something that you want. That's what you want. That's what you aspire. And obviously now the Bears are going into kind of like a similar transition as the Texans. They've decided to keep Eberflus, and now they got to find an offensive coordinator. But this is the year for them with 2 picks in the top 10 to get your quarterback, if that's the decision you choose, and to go ahead and pair him with another playmaker, and and take that person's input and run with it. So shout out to the Texans. I definitely picked them to win, and it's going to be interesting to see them advance.
Before I go to Bang, I just want to say this too about CJ Stroud too. When we talk about quarterbacks, great year this year. I'm really interested to see how it's going to be next year. Because we just saw something with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was great his rookie year. Leading the team to the playoffs. Had a shit first half, a historically bad first half against the Chargers, but the Chargers going to charge it, and they came back and won. He put up a good thing together. Then this year, he looks like he doesn't even know the offense he's running. So I want to see what it's going to be like when defenses have an entire spring and summer to game plan for him. But I do think it's definitely great to see that man just come out, and just the throws he's been making, it just been crazy. Bang, take us out on this one. Then we're going to have our one last topic, and we're going to wrap this up. What you feel about everything they got going on in H-Town?
Well, first of all, you said what I was going to say, part of what I was going to say. Call me next year. I think sometimes we put a lot of these words, and mind you, I was excited when the Texans drafted CJ Stroud. I didn't think we were going to get this, but I thought we was going to see improvement. I wanted the Bears to get Tank Dell. I thought enough of Nico Collins to draft them in one of my fantasy leagues. I was excited about what they were building in Houston, and were jealous at that because I am a DeMeco Ryans fan. I thought he was going to be a pretty good head coach. And I thought that they had the makings of building out a pretty decent staff. Just didn't think that we was going to get it this quickly. But now they're going to have a first place schedule next year. Call me when that first place schedule happens and what happens afterwards. Because as we know with the NFL, you can go to the playoffs, you can go to the Super Bowl, but then the next year you can be 3-13. With that being said, I do like what they're building out there. I do think that they have the building blocks for a sustainable future. Plus, they're in a division to make that happen. They're not in the strongest division. We see Trevor Lawrence is out here stealing money a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We need to start a dialogue, and we've been on the forefront of starting that dialogue when it comes to him.
Trick off Trev.
There you go, trick off Trev. You know what I'm saying? I do be making some good nicknames.
You got
that,
now
hearing it.
Yeah, you 2 for 2 nicknames. That and Freaky Sean.
Yeah, now hearing it, trick off Trev. Yeah, that was hot. But then you got Anthony Richardson, who we got to see if he's gonna stay healthy or not, if he's just going to run through people and stuff like that. That division right there, the Titans just fired Mike Vrabel, it feels like, for no reason other than the black GM wanted to pick his own head coach. So hopefully Raheem Morris ends up getting that job, because I think he deserves a head coaching job. But that division right there is right for them to own it for the next couple of years. It's going to be also interesting as Bobby Slowick is starting to get head coaching consideration or gets interviews. What happens when he leaves? It's the same thing that I talked about last week with Herb. What happens when that hot offensive coordinator leaves and takes another position? Will you see a step back, or will you see an increased presence, with that quarterback? So they on the right track, but call me next year, once they have a first place schedule and shit like that.
Definitely, man. Last topic of the show, and then we will get y'all back to y'all Dr. King Day relaxation as you can watch another NFL blowout. And by the way, I just want to say this one thing about Dr. King Day. Am I the only? Anybody remember my dear friend Martin? Remember the VHS? Am I showing my age right now?
No, I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah,
I remember.
yeah, it was a cartoon, bro. Like niggas
Yeah.
used to watch that shit in grammar school, man. So, but
I did not watch that in grammar school.
yeah, you got like 5 years on me. That's probably why. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. And I will say this before we move on. Do not let white people tell you what Martin Luther King Jr. said when it comes to how you felt about that situation, because they like to point him out like he was just this this pushover, which we get a lot. And they do a lot of that with Muhammad Ali too.
Can we go a step further? Can we go a step further, please? As the resident Morehouse person here.
One thing Morehouse niggas is not arrogant.
Yeah. I just want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, please stop saying that man gave his life for the movement. He was murdered. He was assassinated. Like he didn't set out with the goal of dying, my nigga. Like he wanted equality. He didn't want to die. So like, let's stop allowing people to use his name and say like, well, he was just this martyr. No, he was taken from us. That was some bullshit. And so, Scott, back to you.
So MLK wasn't like, yo, shoot me, not Jesse, not Ralph Abernathy.
Don't even started on Jesse, Mr.
No, I said Ralph Abernathy too. Don't shoot them, shoot me. He wasn't like that.
Jesse, like, let me get in this photo real quick.
Jesse said, let me put the blood on my shirt real quick. Like, we're not going to talk about Jesse. We're not going to talk about Jesse.
Don't even get me started on Jesse. Don't even get me started.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Has anyone asked Jonathan Majors what his thoughts were on the day?
As he marched with Coretta and Dr. King with his hoodie in his side. I just want to say, by the way, hoodie in sweatpants, like wrapped up, wouldn't it? It's not even top 5 weirdest things you're gonna see in West Hollywood on a random ass Wednesday. That's you're not gonna see that. I said Dante just put the kufi on. Dante's like, as a nigga that went to Morehouse.
No, they be pissing me off, bro.
With the whites.
No, that shit be pissing me off, bro. They really be trying it, especially on a day like today. Like, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that. And they also be doing that with Muhammad Ali. Y'all didn't like Muhammad Ali, so you can stop talking. Let's just keep it 100% real. But let's wrap this up with this last topic, man. We talk about Dr. King. We even talk about Dr. King. We think about the civil rights here. You think about Motown. You think about one of the good things about it. I won't say one of the good. Let me stop. I love Detroit. Let me stop. I love Detroit. Going to Hitsville was one of the best moments I've had in my life out there. That's if you haven't been to Hitsville Motown Museum, I guarantee you need to go to that spot. As somebody who has
God,
this nigga bangers losing some money apparently from his reaction. But let's talk about.
You'll see the touchdown that just happened.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Right. Oh wow! Oh wow!
Right.
I'm waiting for this
Josh
to come
Fields.
Right
that's Josh Fields right there.
Why?
They want to go home, bro.
As my iPad is hella slow right now. Okay, with 3rd and 8. Here we go. I know this ain't what y'all talking about. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Oh, get nigga. Yeah, the niggas want to go home. The niggas want to go home, man.
They don't want to play.
But as I was trying to give Detroit some love here, I was just saying I love Hitsville. I love Coney Island. I love Sweetwater Rings in Detroit. I fuck with Detroit. We got to talk about them Lions, man. I know Bang don't want to, but we going to end the show with that, talking about the Lions. They won last night 24-23. Over the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff went 22-27, 277 yards passing, 1 touchdown. David Montgomery, man, I'm happy for Demo. Demo 14 carries, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs also put in 25 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 110 yards receiving. Josh Reynolds, the former Ram, put in 80 yards also. They really spread the ball around last night. That defense was great. Real good stand on that 3rd and 14 towards the end of the game. I really thought that Sean McVay should have went for it. I was surprised he was conservative. We don't really see Sean McVay be conservative. But on the other side, Matthew Stafford did not have a bad game. 25 of 36, 367 yards, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua was set the rookie receiving yard. I don't know if it was rookie receiving record or all-time playoff receiving record, but 9 receptions, 181 yards, and 1 touchdown. Arguable should have been that was a flag on that last one, but that was a no call from the offsides call they didn't call a couple quarters earlier. My question is this, and this is not even quite. This is a fear of mine. There's a great chance that not a great chance, but there's a chance that we could have an all NFC North NFC Championship game, and will make me vomit. And honestly, I don't know if I would watch it. To be completely honest with you, it really because I feel like Detroit can beat the Eagles and the Buccaneers. I'm worried about that. But just from a given Detroit's perspective, we talk about rebuilds. They did it the right way. I remember a couple years ago when Man Campbell had that press conference. He was like a Roy head. Like, people even taking him seriously? It's not 1987. What kind of football is that? But they built this up the way you're supposed to build it up. And now they're in this position right now to have a chance to go to the NFC Championship game for the first time since that Barry Sanders led team. I got to go to Bang first because he said nobody cared about the Lions. I'm gonna go to you first. Taking your hate away from Detroit Lions, what did you see this weekend? About obviously your mind hasn't changed, but what about them that you see that kind of stuck out?
Not a goddamn thing. Like, I'm not saying this because of hate either. Not a goddamn thing. They just got an aggressive ass coach, and they went against a team that is just not as good as them. They had pieces like Puka is cold. I did not think that was gonna happen at all. But Matt Stafford got his ass beat that game. I guarantee you that man it had to take some cortisone shots during that game yesterday. Call me this week. Like when they play whoever they gonna play, call me this week. Because I do think that I don't think that they gonna pass it. Because they head coach got a tendency of thinking he's better than what they are. So he'll fuck it up. He'll mess up a bad head in spades if you let him sometimes. So a game like that and winning it and the excitement they felt for Jared Goff might end up being the shit that fuck them up in the end because they feeling themselves. So yeah, call me next week. And plus, I don't want to hear about no goddamn Packers versus Lions NFC Championship game. Ain't none of us even think about ever seeing a NFC Championship game that will feature them two teams, let alone the goddamn Lions. So oh man, fuck them.
Well, Courtney is shaking her head as soon as I brought it up. Well, she was just like, it's like she wants me to get to better pastures.
Because this is crazy. Y'all are letting these people live just like rent free, like right here in the old noggin. It's crazy.
I'm trying, but what did you think about the Lions' performance this week?
I don't think about the NFC North at all.
Like, this
is crazy. I haven't thought about the NFC North since like the Pastronaut, okay? When maybe there was like a little bit of intrigue that like maybe almost all of the teams in that division had like maybe a little something intriguing, but then I don't want to say it, but like there's a certain Chicago-based football team that didn't do what they needed to do against the Packers. So then
You're not lying.
I completely turned that part of my brain off.
You're not lying. You're not lying. We're responsible for a lot of stuff.
You see this? What little speck of interest and intrigue that I had for that. First off, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? How dare you learn something from this? Because all I wanted was for the Bears to beat the Packers. I'm not some Packers fan. I can't stand Matt LaFleur's smug little rat face. Sorry if you're listening to this. I'm sorry.
No, we're not sorry. Fuck you. Mikey and Dante.
I can't. So yeah, I'm a little heated that it didn't happen. So that being said, good for Detroit, I guess. Who cares? Get Eminem off my TV. He stinks. All right.
No, keep Eminem. Get rid of Big Sean. Anyway,
you saw how they tried to sneak him? Yeah, speaking of, you saw how they tried to sneak him in that Legends photo? I said,
you're not fooling me.
Big Sean. I saw what you did there.
Mr. Eat the cookie like I'm loose, sis. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, Mikey, we're gonna go to you, then we'll go to Dante, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. What's your thoughts from this weekend with what happened with the Lions?
I thought it was a really good game, but to piggyback off your comments, Dan Campbell actually outcoached Sean McVay, man. It comes down to the Rams' inability those 3 times that they had to settle for field goals, not scoring 7 there. You lose by 1, the holding call. or the no call on the Puka play, and then them for being forced to punt. They never got the ball back, but good for the Lions. It is what it is, man. I hope that we can have a resurgence like them next year. And now they have a really good pathway to at least make the NFC Championship game and face the winner of the Niners Packers. I think it's going to be Niners. So we're looking at a Niners Lions matchup, and I think it could get ugly for Jared Goff there.
Dante, close us out, brother.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Detroit. My kids are nail on the head. They really did their thing in the red zone, and that's what was the key to victory. You giving up 12 there and not giving up 7 in any of those scenarios is why you won the game. As for the all NFC North potential NFC Championship game, I welcome it because, again, at this point, I need George McCaskey, Mr. I am not a football guy, I am a fan. There has to be something to trigger him. So if you're a fan and you see two of the biggest teams in your division in the NFC Championship where your team is still struggling to get shit together, and that don't shake you, nothing will. So I would actually welcome that matchup. I do think they both have a very good opportunity to get there, given who they could potentially face. So, Detroit has done it the right way, and I think Detroit is another example of just because a team says we're committed to running the football doesn't mean they're not going to throw that bitch. Like, they run the ball well, but Jared Goff is still allowed to move the football, and we've seen that offense do some great things. They probably could have had more than 24, but like we said, the Rams definitely should have had more than 23. But still, shout out to Detroit, and that was a solid game, solid victory.
And for anybody who says, "Oh, you just got to hit on the quarterback," I give you Jared Goff, and I will rest my argument on that. There's a lot more that goes into it, man. It's a hell of a week for Michigan. I'm jealous. Y'all niggas won a national championship. Like, y'all niggas like going to the next round of playoffs, and on top of that, the Fab Five back together. Like, the Fab Five reunited. Like, they got y'all. It's well documented how I feel about Chris Webber, but it was good to see the Fab Five back together.
And paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna